Hello everyone. We're going to be doing a interview with Mark Bidwell on mental health and expressing yourself. So just wait for him to join.
Ah,
Well, I can hear you.
I read.
Oh man, that was I don't know. That was a journey. That was a journey.
What are you talking about? I've just cycled like 2 kilometers to get back to a proper signal.
Yeah, to be fair, I did just sit here, so I guess it's hard for you.
I literally pedaled in and said to Julie, I was like, your sister kind of watched me on the live, and then I lost signal, and then it just all went shit. So I'm going to try on a laptop. Then it didn't work. So I ran back in and grabbed the iPad. So now I've got an iPad balanced
Yeah,
up.
thank thank God for iPads.
Good old Apple technology,
Good old Apple. Right.
eh?
How was the bike ride?
Yeah, it was all right. It was all right. I found a lovely tree stump to kind of sit and watch the world go by on, which was really nice. Um,
That's
so yeah, I think it might be my favourite tree stump next to a back road ever.
lovely, lovely. All right. Let's get into it
Go on
then.
then.
So, mental health. Um, so how do you find like it's the best way for you to cope with mental health?
So for me, I've got to be honest. I had a really tricky journey to kind of acknowledging mental health. So I'm a secondary school teacher, and I did loads and loads of work on teenage mental health. And I
Yeah,
wrote loads of lessons and did loads of like assemblies and like massive school schemes about it. And the more I looked into it, the more I kind of realised that actually some of the things that I was saying were kind of attributing to me.
yeah,
I'd had a really, really rough experience in teaching in a school that had totally decimated my confidence. And so I kind of just dusted myself down and thought it's partly my fault. Went to a brilliant school in Corby. Like couldn't fault it. And I know we talked about Corby before,
yeah.
but brilliant school in Corby with some great friends, great colleagues, great kids as well. Um, and I knew that something wasn't right. I
Yeah,
I knew like in lunch times where I couldn't tell you what I'd eaten, I couldn't tell you who I'd spoken to. I would stare into space and I wouldn't be myself. And
yeah,
I know when my mental health is not great because I struggle to string a sentence together because I'm constantly thinking about every single sentence, like every
yeah.
word that I choose. And I don't think I answered your question. I think I just babbled, but that's okay.
That's fine. Yeah, yeah. I enjoyed the story. Yeah.
Thanks.
So, like, how, when you were going through all of this,
Mm.
um, at what point did you find ways to kind of cope with it and deal with it?
So initially, I dealt with it in a really, really negative way, like a really negative way. So I kind of kept it very much to myself. I kind of struggled a little bit in silence. I was really snappy with the kids, really snappy with my wife, and it just kind of proper internalized it. Um, and I'm I'm what's been called a high functioning sufferer of depression, which is such a great
Yeah,
place to have. Um, so I know all the right things to say. I know all the right things to do. I just don't do it
yeah,
when I'm down. Um, and it was Sunday, April the 16th, and it would have been 2 years ago. I
yeah,
stood in my kitchen and I made a cup of tea and
yeah,
left my left hand because I've got really, really bad circulation, like really bad circulation. I left my left hand on the kettle and I knew full well it was burning me. And then I was going to cut a bit of cheese. You know how when you get proper like hungry, you just want a slab of cheese.
Yeah.
I was going to cut myself because I knew exactly what I was going to do, and I could explain it away as an accident, and no one would need to know. And that's kind of how it started. And from there,
Yeah.
like I'd do it on the photocopier at work, I'd do it on the printer at work. I was a bit of a devious little bastard. And Julie caught me doing it one day. I used to cut the bottom of my feet as well, so no one could see it. And that was, yeah, when she caught me doing it, that was a hard time. And it just kind of from there. And yeah, my doctors were brilliant. And I spent a lot of my head of department at the time. She was brilliant because I went in on the Monday and she said, "How was your weekend?" And I said, "I nearly did something really, really stupid." And she kind of sent me home and said, "You need to go to the doctors." And
Yeah.
from there, I've talked a lot. My poor lady wife, Julie, gets a lot of, when I'm concerned, when I'm down, when I'm worried, she gets a lot of questions bounced off of her. I take antidepressants, have done for the last 4 years.
Yeah.
Whoops. And I see a counsellor once a week and have done for off and on for about 3 years. But yeah, I'm very lucky.
So, sorry, may I say that?
I was just going to say I'm very lucky that I've got a very good supportive network around me. You know, I've got a family that they can kind of see the triggers of when I'm down, and they know how to kind of deal with me as then. And thankfully, with one or two exceptions, you know, I haven't done anything stupid. I've dealt with it with poor mental health in the proper way. I've, you know, not gone back to those kind of secret dark days that I remember when Judy found me doing it, I was horrified, like so embarrassed. And I still kind of am. And I don't tell very many people, you know, yes, Mark, I was a secret self-harm. I don't do that. Apart from, you know, on Instagram, because I'm a millennial.
I mean, you've just got to help people, though, isn't it?
Yeah, well, I think, to be honest, the first time we met on a cold Saturday morning, I think I might have. And the only reason I think I told you was because it was a cold Saturday morning and I was miserable, because I find when I'm down, I tell people everything. And so actually kind of telling you everything now, it's a bit strange because I'm not down, because I've just been for a bike ride. And, you know, it was sunny outside. And actually these last couple of days, in amongst this whole kind of craziness of coronavirus and lockdown and not seeing parents, which you know from our kind of conversations, Joe, I've really, really struggled with. Actually, today's not been a bad day. So telling people how I've been feeling, like the bad parts, that's, it's a bit strange for me.
I think it's powerful, though. I think it's really brave for you to do that. And I think, you know, if anyone watches this and they're struggling to, like, say they're a similar situation to you where, you know, they're doing stuff in secret and they're not really sure what to do, and then they kind of catch themselves where maybe they're deluding themselves a little bit, and they think, oh, no, nothing's really that bad is happening, and then they're like, oh, well, like this is kind of what I'm doing, and so hopefully that they'll then create the support system that you had, and go to people and stuff like that.
I was very lucky in the fact that Julie has this look when she knows that I'm not telling her the truth.
I think all women have that, to be honest. They can tell when you're lying.
I've never lied to her, like, ever. I mean, I've creatively told the truth a couple of times. You know, oh no, that's my birthday. But I had an excuse ready for everything. Like, for everything.
Yeah.
I had an excuse ready for the photocopier at work. I had an excuse ready for the kettle at home, a knife at home, you know, the foot. I had an excuse for everything. Could have just reeled them off like that. Like I say, I was a devious little bastard. But I'm very lucky that she gave me the look, and I could never be a spy because, like, I don't know, enemy countries could grab me. They could give me the look, and I would crumble like that. I mean, they wouldn't need to like torture me or waterboard me. They'd just give me that really disappointed look, and I'd be like, "Yeah, I did it all."
Oh, bless. So, how important would you say having that support system around you is? Like,
Oh, it's crucial. Like, it's totally crucial. Um, if I, it's a difficult one because I'd like to say, oh, I would have got better on my own, but I wouldn't have. I would have just gone like up and down and up and down and up and down, and the downs would have got worse, and the ups would have got,
yeah,
you know, marginally better. Um, but it is brilliant. Like, it is, without my support network, without you, without my friends, you know, my best mates, they know and they've been there, and when you doubt like yourself and everything that you do, the worst feeling
yeah,
when you're having a bad day and you've organised to see someone, so you go out, like you go like, to their house or you go out for a meal, and actually you don't really have much to talk about because in your head you're the most boring person in the world, and why would anyone want to spend any time with you?
mm,
And that's quite a tricky thing. But that support network, they've got your back, and they're the ones who kind of say, actually, you sold yourself short there. You know, you can do this, or you can do that, or you can do the other.
yeah. No, yeah, I totally agree. I think everyone has that kind of support system in one way or another. Or if they don't, then obviously they should 100% reach out to someone. You know, there's been countless times where I've been struggling with something, um, maybe mentally or something else, you know. And I have certain people that I'll go to, you know, my parents, my manager at work, my best friends. So yeah, I think it is, like you said, absolutely crucial for almost everyone, regardless of how good your mental health is. I think everyone's, you know, life's full of ups and downs. So I think when it is going down for you a little bit, I think it's crucial to have someone there for you to, you know, bounce you back and whatnot.
Yeah, and I think as well, it's really important that you give people the opportunity to be there for you. Like,
Yeah,
for ages, I worried that it would be seen as weakness. It would be seen as being, you know, a wuss or being like not strong enough. And there are times when I still
yeah,
think, there is times when I still think like I'm less of a man or kind of less of a dad or less of a teacher or less of a human being because I struggle with. And it sounds really stupid. Like, if it was a physical illness, be dead easy,
yeah.
but it's not. You know, and
No.
I think what the most difficult thing is that the biggest enemy of me is me,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I might get my head
I
around.
think it's,
I don't know if I ever will.
mm, I mean, I think everyone is their kind of like own worst enemy. Um, because we're the ones who have, you know, the thoughts, we're the ones who overthink. Um, and so going back to the last point of having a support system, having them tell you, like, obviously, like you said, you're selling yourself short. It's kind of needed when, you know, you overthink things or you're having negative thoughts in your mind.
One of the things I did when I very first started feeling really, really low was I went to a body combat class.
Yeah,
Like, like so much fun. Um, Made a good couple of friends who were there, but when I joined, I had a fear of mirrors, which sounds so stupid,
right.
but I just didn't want to look at myself. And for about 5 weeks, perfectly normal, like going about my normal day, never looked at myself in the mirror, never. Just couldn't meet my eyes, like just couldn't do it. I mean, why would I wouldn't
Yeah,
want to look? Um, and I had a few weeks off from Body Combat because there were less and less people going, and actually, I didn't. The less people that went, the more chance I was. And one of the women in there, hey, and I just told her everything, and she was like, "Okay, right." And I went a little bit low, and I didn't go for 6-7 months. And I went back, and I was so nervous. And the minute I walked in, the same woman gave me a hug. She was like, "We saved your spot. We know where you're going to stand." And she totally got it. So
Oh,
I know her first name, but that's all I know. I only know her first name. And I see her in town sometimes, and I'm like, "Hi, love," chat. And so I guess that kind of support network, that person who's got your back, it's found
yeah,
random of places, the most random of places.
yeah, 100%, 100%. There's always that sweet old lady that you'll meet in the high street or something where you'll have a bad day or something like that.
Oh yeah, last Friday, I think I told you I had a little cry in Sainsbury's.
Yeah,
Just last Friday was awful, like absolutely awful. I just felt like bad news after bad news after bad news. I have a real problem with my kind of own perception of myself and how I look and how people perceive me. And so I saw this really negative headline about on the front of a poor newspaper. And I just stood in Sainsbury's I just had a little cry. And because I thought the world hated me. And that's no one likes a crying, snotty, chubby mess in Sainsbury's. But
I do. I like you, Mark.
well, a woman who works there kind of said, "You're right, love." And I was like, yeah. Wiping snot from my nose. And she said, "In a normal time, I'd give you a hug, but 2 meters." And I'm like, yeah. But yeah, it's I've got to believe, and one of the things that I keep believing is that there's still good people out there, and actually,
Yeah.
there are better people than me, which is what keeps me going, I guess.
I wouldn't say better people than you, Mark, because there's no one better than you.
Yeah, there is.
So,
And there's people who skip, Joe.
but I think what's really important, what you said, is that if you don't think there is a support system, there is somewhere. Like, you will meet someone who will, be there to support you, whoever it may be. So yeah, I mean, if anyone who's watching this now, needs to someone to talk to, I mean, we're always here as well. So yeah, I'd just like to really say that. So another question I have for you, what kind of the telltale signs, some of the major symptoms
Of me feeling low.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
when you're going to a bad place.
So I really struggle on bad days. I really struggle to put sentences together. Like, it takes me ages. Any sort of decision whatsoever is almost impossible. So like, if I'm at work, I will wear the same shirt. Like, every Monday will be the same shirt, the same tie, because then that decision is taken out. And I will struggle to sleep, but I'll become really lethargic, like really, not lazy, but just no energy. And I will drift off because my brain is doing like 1,000 things a minute. So
Yeah.
things I try and do is, in kind of good times, I try and create like a positive habit, something I do every day or every other day or every 3 days that my brain can latch onto when I'm not necessarily thinking straight.
Yeah.
So it may be like go for a run or get on the bike, or it may just be go for a walk. It may be like learn Spanish. I'm learning Spanish at the moment.
¿Tú hablas español?
Now, sí, me hablo poco español.
Ah, sí, sí, muy bien.
Nah, gracias, señor. Una para personas. I can book a table.
Look. That's all I do. That's all I do. Let's just keep it school level, school level.
But the aim when schools go back, I can go into a Spanish class and I can go, mi maestro, yo tengo uh, una pregunta difícil, and they'll go, what? Which is
No, that's brilliant. That's um, so are those just some of the symptoms, or are those all the
yeah.
symptoms?
I mean, I catastrophize when I'm down. Like everything can go wrong, and it won't just go a little bit wrong; it will go massively wrong. Like,
Yeah.
so and so will stop talking to me, so they'll hate me, so we'll never be friends, so I'll never see so and so again, and be like, and that's when I know that I'm not in a great place.
Yeah.
But actually, that's when I'll say to my friends, like, cheers for that, and they'll go, we're friends, you don't need to say thanks. I'll be like, yeah, but I don't know why we're friends. You're cooler than me. And they'll be like, don't worry about it.
Right. No, I think I think it's hard for like other people to see that going on, if that makes sense. So like obviously that's all in your head.
Yeah,
So how do like obviously like you told me before, your friends know when you're down.
yeah.
So how do you think that they see that?
I think they see me as I'm obviously slower, but I also, when I'm down, I tend not to meet people's like eyes. You know how when you talk to someone, you look at their eyes, not in like a creepy,
Yeah.
demon headmaster type, but yeah, I don't look at people in the eyes when I'm down, so they get it. I think.
Yeah. Yeah.
And those people
That's good.
get it. I don't hold anything against them, but I'm not going to tell them. Like, I'm not going to say, do you know what? I'm having a bad day.
Yeah.
Which is kind of ironic because when I moved jobs, I'd had a shocker of a day. And I said to my head of department, I just said, look, I need to tell you something. I'm a bit of a secret self-harmer. Whoops. And suffer from depression. And today was a really bad day. And I was like, I'll be back again tomorrow. Don't you worry. Because one of the things that I am is I'm proper like dogged determined. Like I won't.
Yeah.
I'm annoyingly so. Even if that little negative voice in my brain screams give up, I'll be like, no, no, no. Like, I've just got to keep going,
Yeah.
going and going. I don't know whether that makes me an idiot or it just makes me resilient and persistent, but who knows?
I think no, honestly, I think it's a good thing to have, when you have that negative voice in your mind and you have that, resilience to tell it no. I think, that gives you the power then instead of the voice.
Yeah.
So I think no, that's a really good thing to have.
I think my issue is I can tell that little negative voice in my head no. And whereas I think stronger people would say that no, and that'd be it. For me, it always comes back. It's like I might have him on the ropes, but it's never a knockout, and he always comes back, which I guess makes him a bit of a dick, but he's part of me.
I think it just makes you stronger, really. I think, I don't think many people that I've met would be able to cope with what you do as well as you do.
Thanks.
So, no, honestly, it's something that I do genuinely admire from you. Because I think if it was like that for me, I think yeah, things wouldn't go well, you know, because I wouldn't say as that resilient as you to constantly say no and do the things that you do, you know.
Thanks. I think a lot of it stems from the point where the point or the event that I think kind of triggered all of this off. I've always been a little bit, you know, unsure of myself. I've always questioned myself. I've always never been too happy with the way I look, for example. I've always questioned that. But the event that kind of triggered all this off, I was told so many times by so many people, by, you know, constantly, that I wasn't good enough, that I couldn't do it, that, you know, I thought too much of myself. And nothing's further from the truth. I've never thought a lot of myself. And so I guess the fact that I'm not giving up is almost like my kind of, you know, fuck you kind of moment to
Yeah,
repeatedly, even though I imagine that they probably don't remember me or my name or what they did. That hurts a little bit.
what? Who doesn't remember your name? Sorry.
Like the people who kind of created those kind of negative issues, like really amplified them in my brain. I imagine
Yeah,
if I saw them and I said, do you know how you made me feel and continue to make me feel, they'd be like, who are you? No. But that's something I have to get over, you know?
yeah. I think it's almost about forgiving yourself and forgiving them to a certain extent. Um, because I think, you know, we've all had people who put us down in the past, or maybe we've put someone down in the past, and then they've said something to us, and we'd be like, "What are you on about?" Like, you know, you know, maybe it was just for them a bad day, and they you know, took it out on us, and obviously never apologized for it or even recognized it. And so I think, you know, I think for me, because I've had that as well, where I've been annoyed at people, and then, you know, in real life, you know, I've confronted them about it, and they've just got blank, like, they're like, what are you on about? And then, you know, for them, it wasn't as deep as it was for me.
Yeah.
Um, and so I think sometimes you do just have to bite the bullet and kind of cut your losses, forgive them, forgive yourself. Um, and yeah, I think that would be my advice. Whether that's different for you, because obviously we're all different, then yeah, what would you, you know, how would you cope with that? Like, what would you say to them?
I mean, my way of coping with it is never healthy. um, if someone says something bad about me, I will always internalize it and see it as a reflection of me. So, like,
Yeah,
I was cycling day before yesterday, and there was this driver coming the other way who proper beeped at this cycling couple on the other side, and I automatically thought it was my fault. And I have this process now where I have to go through and think, okay, well, what could I have done to have stopped that? What did I do to affect that? I don't know if it's so much as it almost forgiving myself or as forgiving the situation that I'm in. Does that make sense?
yeah, 100%.
So, yeah, I mean, but it is tricky. And I think if anyone's really kind of struggling with that internal doubt, then they should talk to, like, in the kind of very early kind of secretive days, I talked to the people at the Calm Zone, the campaign
Yeah,
Living Miserably. They're brilliant. They have like an online web chat. There's that crisis text line now as well. They're really good. Because I still have little like drop offs from time to time. There's still times when I've asked like Julie a question 20 times over the course of 3-4 days, but I'll still not have it in my head what the answer is.
yeah,
And it's, you know, it's random things like, you know, do I look fat at the moment, or, you know, are my family happy? And realistically, yeah, they are, you know.
yeah,
If they weren't, they'd tell me, because that's what people do, I guess.
yeah, yeah. For me, like, because I can relate to what you're saying. Um, But for me, I think a large portion of it is just kind of telling myself, like, no, you're overthinking,
Yeah.
and just be like, think of it, like break it down into small chunks. Because I think I'm the type of person to get quite overwhelmed over stuff. And then when I break it down, I start to realize like, oh, okay, it's not really that big of a deal when it's stuff that I can achieve. It's stuff that is achievable. Um, and so yeah, so like, we will have days where we look in the mirror and we don't like the look of ourselves. Um, and then sometimes you just, but nothing's changed from that day where I did feel good about myself.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think for me, or a large portion of it is just literally breaking it down and kind of allowing myself to feel overwhelmed, be emotional, and then try and break it down or do.
Yeah. Yeah. I think you're right. I think acknowledging how you feel is important to moving on with it.
Yeah, so important, and so many people don't acknowledge their feelings, and that's why a lot of people can't move on because they don't even acknowledge it's there and they just block it out, which isn't healthy.
Yeah. I mean, I remember going back to that whole, you're an idiot millennial thing. I remember the first time I put a post on Facebook that kind of acknowledged all of the like shit that I'd been through and how I was feeling it and how I was processing it. And it took me hours to write, to kind of just say, do you know what? I suffer from depression. And the number of people who either liked it and commented on it or like replied privately and just said, actually, yeah, do you know what? I do too. I totally get that.
Yeah,
And that's really, really powerful. And I guess that's one of the reasons why I've kind of been a lot more open and obvious about it. I still don't
yeah,
tell my school kids. But I think that's a preservation thing.
yeah,
I think working with teenagers, you don't give them the slightest thing to kind of hook their hat on.
yeah. I mean, I think school is quite a toxic place, anyway, and so little kids who don't really know um about this or don't have any awareness of others. Really, I think that's what it comes down to because when you're a kid, the only person you think of is yourself. And so I don't think they have developed the empathy or the awareness of others yet. So
But
yeah, I think that's an important thing really for schools to get down with and try and teach. I think.
yeah, and I think that's one of the the best parts of the job is to show students how other people think and feel and act and believe and actually to not be afraid to show those feelings. So, like, I mean, I have a year 8 tutor group, so they're like 13, 12, 13. And I email them every week at the moment, just saying, look, I'm here if you need to talk. And I sent an email this week because, I mean, we're into week 9 of lockdown.
Yeah, I think so.
And I said something like, it's okay to feel upset. It's okay to feel trapped. It's okay to be missing school. It's okay to have that feeling. It's okay to be with your friends. But I said, like, it's not okay to be taking it out on people around you. It's not okay to be taking it out on your parents.
Yeah, yeah,
And actually, I think one of my favourite parts of my job is being able to say, that's okay to feel like that, but you can't act like that.
yeah.
And I think that's only come with a little bit of time and patience with myself as well as.
Yeah.
But
No, I think that's really important because I don't think a lot of school kids have that person at home to really to really be a role model. Emotionally, to say, look, it's okay to feel like that. It's okay to be sad. It's okay to show emotions and to open up to people. I think, so some people might have, parents who forbid that or kind of shame that,
Yeah.
or punish it,
I think the
you know.
problem in kind of any social setting is that there's a hierarchy and there has to be someone who's top, and you can't ever get on top by showing emotion, by showing fragility, by showing kind of weakness. And so
Yeah,
things I think that I do as a teacher is I show that it's okay to be, fragile and to feel a little bit shitty and to, process things and question things and to feel bad while still maintaining that kind of top dog position.
yeah, yeah,
I think with kind of my issues in the past few years, I've done all of that, but not shown that I was in top dog position. I think now, particularly with the place that I'm at currently and with the department that I've got currently, who are brilliant and totally understand the way I work, I think
yeah,
I think I've now got that idea of I know what I want to tell the kids, but I know that I'm top dog. And actually,
yeah,
I keep getting from quite a few students that I teach and in my tutor group, I don't remember a time when you weren't here, and that's the best thing that I can have, because it means that I've made an impact and they, that I'm important and I'm useful.
yeah. And I think you really are, honestly. The just the importance of having someone in life like that, and then having someone who's, if you're a kid, your teacher is a significant person to you. And so having someone like you, who is a role model, just kind of amplifies that point so much, and is so crucial for young people to have that and to look up to someone like that.
Yeah, thanks.
So okay, so another question
Go on.
is, how do you think fitness helps?
So for me, fitness it's like the holy grail. I'll never get it. I have a bit of a love-hate relationship with it. Like, I really enjoy
Yeah,
it. I'm just not very good at it, or I think I'm not very good at it. Um, and actually, like, I remember saying to you the first time we met, I was petrified, because I think I'm not I'm not the strongest, fastest, most graceful. There is no sport that someone would go, do you know what? He's the best at that. We want him on our team. No one does that with me. And I'm okay with that. Because actually the idea of fitness helps, one, to improve my self-confidence in myself. It helps
yeah,
improve my image. But it gives me that regularity and that routine, that thing that doesn't change.
yeah,
And yes, okay, sometimes it can be the catalyst for negative thoughts. Oh, that was a bad run, you were slow, you were puffing, you were blah 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 blah. But I still did it.
yeah,
And I remember, like, I've run 7 or 8 10Ks. I've run 3 half marathons, maybe 4. I don't know, I kind of lost count, which makes me sound like a right dick.
You're just too good.
But like, I've done a couple of them with no training, and I've still finished them, because even though I know it's hurting, even though I'm not the quickest, even though I'm not going to win any awards, I'm still going to be the person that I don't want to be, who's lazy and, sat on the sofa and fat and, doing all of those things that ultimately are going to make me worse. And I know they're going to make me worse, because
Yeah,
I want to make the people who support me, the people who love me, the people who I inspire, I want to make them proud. Like, I want my kids to be proud of me.
yeah,
And if that means that, I have to run, 13.1 miles, then I'll do it.
yeah. I think your kids are already proud of you 100%.
I hope so.
Nah, they are. I'm telling you, they are. They are 100%. They are proud of you. So, you don't have to do anything crazy before, so don't do any bloody like 100 million mile marathons to try and prove something.
That's lucky, because I was never going to do that. Never.
I think for me, fitness helps me when I am going into a bad place and I can feel myself going into that bad place.
Yeah.
Because it's always kind of been there for me. There's a support system, and then there's obviously other support systems as well. If you know what I mean. So obviously you have your friends as support system, but I think fitness for me has always been there as well. So whether that was just getting up in the morning, going for a small run, that would instantly like boost my mood and make me feel more motivated because I've done that one small thing. How big it is doesn't really matter, because for me it's just about doing it and proving to myself that I can, regardless of how I'm feeling,
Yeah.
or what circumstance I'm in. And it's really about a journey of self developing and kind of proving to myself stuff, and kind of being content with it as well. Going for a run just for the sake of enjoying going on a run like means the world to me. Or even going on a bike ride just to bike round and look at the view.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, some of my favourite pictures I've taken recently, I've been out on a bike ride, totally lost in the Northamptonshire countryside. Like, I don't know where I am half the time.
Yeah.
But like, I bloody love it. And I've got a really good mate who I go cycling with every other day. And I'll just chat to him and he'll listen. And like I said to him, I'm really weird, aren't I? He was like, yeah, not as weird as you think. I'm like, you reckon? He's like, yeah, you're not as weird as you think. You're all right. But I think fitness just provides that. Sometimes for me, it provides that kind of thing to knock over my head with. But every time I get on the bike, or every time I go out for a run, or every time I do something, that small little improvement is something that's worthy of me feeling better about myself. And like the first time we met and you taught me how to skip, I'm 35 years old and I'm a bit of a heavy set fellow. Like, I'm a bit chubby. I'm not made for
Nah, you're a butterfly, mate, honestly.
but I can skip, and like last Saturday we had a thing out in the street, socially distanced of course, and I got to skip in front of people, and yeah, okay, I was a shit skipper, but I still managed to do it. And it's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
every time I go out on the bike, every time I go out for a run, if you surround yourself with people who say, yeah, you know what, you did that, yeah, that's brilliant, yeah, good work, or we managed to do that when we didn't really want to do it, then step by step, slowly but surely, it improves. And it also kind of quietens down that really negative part of your brain. So yeah, fitness can be, or just achieving anything in that world of fitness can be enough to keep you ticking along almost.
Yeah.
The process of fitness can be your support network.
Yeah. I think it's important to have a healthy relationship with fitness. I think when you go into it, you need to have a certain mindset and kind of have values in it. And I think, like you said, step by steps kind of thing. Because if you go into it and you're expected to have a six pack in a week, I mean, you're obviously not going to be happy. But if you go into it,
Yeah.
But if you go into it to just really just enjoy it, eventually you'll just more enjoy it, more enjoyment, and it doesn't become about the the kind of materialistic kind of ideal of it. It just becomes about the feeling and the process of it, and then you will get the six pack, the muscles that you want through
It'll just take too long.
through that process. And I think that's just so much more healthier than, you know, the countless diets that people do that, you know, just kill themselves over something so stupid, that really isn't going to make them any happier. You know, anything materialistic in the world isn't going to make you happier. It's about the processes and the memories that you go through towards them. And then it's kind of like, you know, a side reward kind of thing, you know what I mean?
Yeah. And I think for me, I don't think of myself as old, particularly, but I've gone through that kind of trying diets, keeping it secret, you know, not eating a lot. I've tried all of that, and I still feel a little bit. And actually now I'm kind of at that point where it is the process that I enjoy more. You know, I enjoy going out for a run with my mate. I enjoy going out for a bike ride with my mate. I enjoy going out for a bike ride on my own, so that I can find somewhere that, you know, looks really pretty, and I can take the picture and I can show people it, because I am that kind of, oh, look at this picture that I took, isn't it cute? I'm that guy.
I think everyone is secretly. I think everyone is that guy. I think we will have a couple sunset pictures that we took, you know, one time.
And why would anyone want to see a picture of this? You know how some people take like selfies of themselves in front of the sunset? No one wants to see this.
I'd have your face on the sunset.
No, my face, Joe. That schnoz and that wonky eye, that would cover the sunset.
Mate, you'd be like the sexualized version of the Teletubby son.
We have this rule in our house, and I have it in every one of my classes as well, that you can't draw the sunshine without a smiley face. Can't do it.
Yeah.
But it wouldn't be this smiley face.
It would, because I'd draw it.
Ah, you. I've seen you.
So I had something in the back of my mind that I wanted to speak about. Yeah. So going back to diets,
Yeah.
I think what people need to realize is the choice that you make. You know, sometimes eating the chocolate is going to make you, you know, it's going to make you happier in that moment. But obviously, I think when it comes down to it, you not eating it and then doing something else, or just not doing anything at all, it's better, because, you know, the countless amount of times that I've overate something because I thought, oh, that's going to really make me happy and I'm going to be, you know, this and that, and then afterwards I felt like complete shit.
Yeah.
Like, and you're just like, why did I do that? That was so pointless, and everything that I thought it was going to be wasn't. And I think that's more for me. I don't have like a diet as such. It's just I know that it's not going to make me happy, and I think that's more of the important part of diet. Making good, happy, healthy choices. Really.
I have a mate who says that he goes like to the gym, or he goes running a lot, so that he can have a drink of whiskey or have beer at the weekend. That's his kind of his payoff. But actually, he eats really, really well because he wants to eat really, really well. And you know, I could sit here and I could say, oh yeah, I make the right healthy choices all the time. That's bollocks. There have been weeks when I have destroyed dairy milk bars, massive ones, every night for 4 nights because the week has demanded it. But like, that's more my relationship with food and my emotions with food.
Yeah, I think it's important.
And actually, I need to recognise, like you say, that, you know, demolishing a massive bar of dairy milk will only give me a short-term boost.
Yeah.
My other half, Julie, she can ration her chocolate, and the next night when she's still got like 3/4 of a bar left, I'm like, and then I give her the face like, can I just have one square?
Uh, I can't lie. My just anyone who has chocolate around me, just they know to keep it away. They know to keep it away because it will be gone. That's my one kind of vice. It's just chocolate. I just can't get enough of the stuff.
Don't ever become a teacher then, because cake will become your vice and stir fruit of cake. Like, I worked in a school once where there wasn't a staff room, but that didn't stop us eating cake. We used to hide it in offices, and we couldn't have a knife because obviously it was an office. So we used to cut cake with a ruler. You know,
A rule.
yeah, and there's a way. And
There is.
we made the agreement. There was this one ruler in the office that we would never lend out to a kid because that was the cake ruler. And yeah, when you've cut a carrot cake with a 30 centimetre school ruler, you know you've got a problem.
You've got. I feel like that should be like an advert somewhere.
My name's Mark and I'm a cakeaholic. I knew there was a problem cutting the 30 centimetre ruler.
Oh, that's hilarious.
I'd still do it now. If I didn't have access to a knife, I'd still cut it with a ruler.
I'd just pick it up, honestly.
What you want?
What was I gonna say? Yeah. So the whole kind of stress thing, I think for a lot of people, stress eat, and more than others, and more have a unhealthy relationship than others. And for me, I do that, like I said, with chocolate. But when I go to it and I see myself going to it, I've got to say, okay, so why am I eating this? I'm going to eat this because I'm stressed. Is that then gonna solve my problem of being stressed? No. So what will solve my my problem of being stressed? Doing various things like listening to music, talking to someone about it, kind of relaxing, anything that kind of makes you relax or winds you down, makes you think about the problem and solve it logically, like I said earlier when you break it down. I think that's a kind of crucial step, asking yourself why you're going to do that. Because, whether that's just saying, oh, I'm hungry, then you probably should eat like a proper meal instead of just eat chocolate, because obviously the chocolate isn't going to fill you up.
And
so I think it's kind of having
part of your meal, Joe. I'm just saying.
But yeah, I think it's kind of good to sometimes ask yourself why you're doing that thing. And what is it going to fill the purpose, that you think it will solve. So yeah.
Yeah, you've made me hungry.
I don't remember about chocolate addiction for me.
You've made me hungry. There's a granola bar in the cupboard that I just want to eat. But listen to me, like a proper millennial. Oh, I want to eat granola bar.
Granola bar. Love it. So what I think we've kind of covered it, but just to kind of clarify, what's your advice for people suffering with mental health issues?
So, I mean, I always feel really guilty that I didn't say that I was struggling sooner, that I kept it quiet, that I kept it a little bit kind of sneaky. My advice would be, talk to your nearest and dearest. Talk to, the one person you love more in the world, and it might be, I'm lucky to have an amazing wife who's my best friend and knows me, inside and out, knows me better than I know myself, to be honest. But not everyone will have that. I get that. For some people, it will be their best mate. For some people, it will be their parents. For some people, it will be their brother or their sister. I wish I'd been more honest earlier.
Yeah.
Because actually, a lot of the stuff that I've kind of struggled with, dealt with, I could have stopped. Because there would have been people there who would have caught me. if I'd have given them the opportunity to.
Yeah, yeah. And I think for anyone who doesn't have anyone at all who they can go to, or maybe they do, but they don't feel comfortable talking with them, like you said, because of guilt reasons, or myself included, for feeling weak or pathetic, you don't want to, have let that person have that view of you. There are people who you can go to where there's no judgment at all, and there's no reason for them to judge you. There's countless services, people, counsellors, mental health sites. There's loads. So really, I think that's important. So yeah, that's what I kind of want to say on that. I think we definitely covered this, but
My mate James, I was talking about him earlier. He's the one who eats really well so that he can drink fine whiskey and beer. He's just written a really nice comment there. Thanks, mate.
James, a legend.
To be fair, he's muscular as fuck. So
Right. Take a no one mess with James, and he's a good guy anyway, so why would you want to?
Well, exactly. Why would you want to? He lives in Wolverhampton. He knows people. He could be killed and make it look like an accident.
So when did you start to kind of notice, you suffered with mental health issues?
I would say it's probably about 4 or 5 years ago. So I changed jobs. I came out of a very, very toxic atmosphere. Met some brilliant people. Still got some amazing friends from that time. But yeah, it was a very kind of self-doubting, toxic atmosphere. And I guess that was the switch. That was when I really started to doubt everything. And there were some little moments, like it took me 45 minutes once to pick out a shirt for work. That's when stuff isn't quite right.
Yeah.
But actually, like, some students spotted it first. You're right, sir, you don't seem very well today. Oh, I'm okay. You sure? You look really tired.
Yeah.
It's normally others that spot it first.
Yeah. How would you say that you like catch yourself in it? Like, what is the kind of best way for you to actually acknowledge it and realize it?
Normally, once I've snapped at someone, like, normally, I imagine there's like two little voices. So you've got the dick on that shoulder who tells me that I'm crap, and then you've got the kind of the angelic one who goes, "Well, that wasn't very nice, Mark. What did you do that for?" And
that's James on the shoulder.
Well, I don't know. But yeah, that one. Normally, I can catch myself pretty well because that's out of character. And if I don't catch myself, then Julie will, or my mum will.
Yeah.
But actually, like, being in a kind of good mental health space today, I can say, acknowledging the thought and understanding the thought process behind it, understanding why I feel that, but also remembering that actually that feeling passes, and that there are people there who value me. There are people like James with his lovely comment that do think that. And I did a lot of work with the counselling guy that I work with at Mind, and he said, would you say your best mates are liars? Would you say your wife's a liar? How would they describe you? Do you believe it?
Oh, wait. We've got 20 seconds remaining.
Oh, no.
Means part 2. There's a part 2. We're gonna have part 2.
Not tonight, though. I need tea and that granola bar.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, 5 seconds remaining. So thank you, Mark.